Yo, welcome to Music as a Day Job, where we turn music into our day job. You already know what time it is. I'm your host, Sean. I'm also the CEO of the Concert app, which this is brought to you by the Concert app, which is an artist accelerator that takes artists from opener to headliner to on tour and gives the fan the best entertainment independently in the world. So, today what we're going to talk about, I'm going to take it back down to the bare bones, to the bottom ground. How do you get booked on your first live show? Now, see, I'm gonna split this into two pieces because there's prior to concert, which is my business, and there's now that we have concert. So prior to concert, and this is what's happening to most people in a lot of areas, like in a lot of places that don't have concert, or even just since the beginning of time, there it was basically like four reasons why you could get a first show. Or basically, you either knew the promoter that was promoting the show, you knew the booker, you found a venue, or you somehow had buzz enough to get a show. So I'm going to run you through each of these pieces, each of these ideas, and so finding a promoter. So that's like saying you may know a promoter that promotes at venues or promotes at clubs and whatnot, and let's say you really can't really, I guess you can't really say you can look them up and find a group of promoters. A lot of times you just have to know who these promoters are because they have their businesses on their shows that they promote all the time. So I'll give you an example of this. What I did before, a long time ago, one of my shows, I knew that there was a promoter on a specific show because I knew they had promoted prior shows, and I constantly kept seeing that this person's name on the shows. So I ended up looking on the flyers, and then I'm finding the person online, and then from that point forward, I was able to get in contact with them and try to, send them something so they can either put me on a show or whatnot. If you're like a first time person, it's going to be harder because a lot of times promoters are looking for someone who's going to bring a lot of people, because their idea is they're throwing the night to make as much money as they can in that night. So they're saying, hey, I need an artist that's not as green and is more like well known. So then it's going to be harder going from that point of view. But if they like your music, you never know. I know some artists that get their first shot because they know the promoter, and the promoter actually is like, hey, I want to give this kid a shot. So that's like, oh, that's not like a I guess say it's not a blueprint way to do it, but some people do go that route. Getting a booker, like, I wouldn't say get a booker out the gate, get someone to book you out the gate, because you're more likely not going to be known enough to get tons of shows. But contacting bookers, you can go online and contact tons of bookers and see if you can get on shows. You send them a deck or whatnot, but I think a lot of them get overwhelmed from people who just send tons of decks and tons of things, so it's not a guarantee. I knew for a long time people were like looking for people who are booking these agents that book and going like, hey, I'm trying to get on the shows, but a lot of times they only deal with the higher level artists. So then it's harder unless they're looking for locals to open up for bigger acts. Um, Now, once again, uh, I've never done that from a first show perspective, but I've done that later in my career where I knew bookers and I go like, "Yo, I'm trying to get on the show. Let me see if I can jump on the show with this person." I remember there's a Live Nation booker that we knew of, and we sent our stuff in so we could get on a I think it was a 3 6 Mafia show that was in Colorado. And so we sent all our stuff in. The booker then sent our stuff to them to see if we get approved to be on the show. And then we made it on the show. Now, that a lot of times, once again, is a hard thing to do when it's your first show, because you don't have a resume to send. It's just kind of saying, hey, I'm trying to be on the show. And so that's what makes it hard for independent artists that are just coming up and haven't done their first show. So that's hard to do, but it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone could be like, hey, I like this kid's sound. Once again, just like the promo, I like this kid's sound. Let me see if I can get this person on. Hitting venues. back in the day, you would have to hit venues. So you would find the venue, find who was booking for the venue or whatever like that, but you find out the venue and you either do one or two ways. You either get on a show that they're already throwing, or you try to book your own first show. Now, I've never contacted a venue just to get on a show, so I can't tell you that whether that works or not, because I know venues don't. A lot of them don't care for the calls that much, so it's like a weird situation because a lot of them will just kind of be like you can send something over. Some of them have those little booking things on their page and you can send to those. Now if you go on every website that is on that each venue has, more than likely they'll have a booking email or like a slot that you can send your stuff, and that's pretty good because then you can at least get something out. Now to say if they actually look at it or if they will actually pick you without a resume, debatable. Like, I can't give you a percentage. I would say the percentage probably isn't high, but that's how you do it. Like, you could look online and you can pick a venue and be like, I want to perform here. They should have somewhere on their website that says, hey, you can send your music and they'll see if they'll book you. Yeah. What I did, my first show, well, I can't say I'll say even my first show. My first show prior to being part of the group I'm in, my first show I did it at a college venue. So I actually figured out all the things and I sent in my stuff. So I did do that kind of, I guess you could say, but I went to that college. So I had an upper hand, and they're picking kids to do shows that are on the campus and whatnot. But outside of that, we also, as a group, we purchased our first venue, so we were willing to put the money up. Now that's really betting on yourself, because let's just keep it honest. You do have to take the majority of venues are around 1,000 or more, and you're looking at what, if you're doing a $20 ticket, then you're looking at selling those tickets to match out at least the minimum amount. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to hit so many to even start seeing profit. So then you then become a booker yourself, because you're gonna have to probably book other artists under you to help you sell the amount of tickets that you need to make a profit. So at that point you almost become a booker. And at the same point, you have to put up the money, so you have to take the risk. How many times are you willing to take the risk at that point? So I'd always say that's a route to get your first show, but is it worth it? For me, it was, because I knew what my intent down the road was. I knew what I was trying to pull off. So I had a goal to be like, hey, if I do this much, if I can sell out this place, or I can do these numbers, then I can get this place again, and then I can constantly do this at multiple venues. So I feel like I had a plan, and if you have a plan and you do it, then you should be good. If not, then I don't know if that's the best bet. Now, I've seen other people with my fourth thing, buzz, get, of course, they reach out to you. So if you build up your buzz online, or you build up your buzz in a city because of where you go to school, or where, like, what side of town you're on, or whatever you do, buzz can get you your first show. Like, I've seen kids that, I didn't have buzz like that, but I've seen kids just get so much buzz that they got offered a show from a venue or from a promoter or from a booking agent, because everyone was just talking about this kid, because the kid online is just doing what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They can that can change a lot of stuff for you. Just the buzz, just how many people know you and how many people have your name in their mouth and are singing your songs or whatever like that. That can get you to the next level. Now, that's all prior to what my app does. Because if you want to get your first show on Concert, all you got to do is go online. All you got to do is get the app. All you got to do is see the slot openings. All you got to do is click it. All you got to do is click it. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I make it easy. I'm making it easy. You know what I'm saying? And so if you want to let's say it has a minimum of 30 tickets or 20 tickets or 30 tickets or whatever like that. You say, hey, I can get close to that, or I can hit that, or I can exceed that. Then I go like, let me get on my first show so I can get myself into the ranking system. Now I can start getting myself on more shows, get myself, moving to being a headliner, get myself to moving on tour. That's all I'm doing now with Concert. I'm giving you that opportunity so artists can just get on there and be like, hey, I want to try and be on the show. I want to be on the show. I want to try this out. I want to see if I got fans. And that's the goal of this, is to build those fans. You want to have a starting spot. It's so blurry when you're just saying like, hey, just random venue or random promoter, and then they put you on a show, and then you don't know when the next time you can be on the show because that promoter ain't doing enough shows or whatever like that. Concert's doing tons of shows. So they'll be the shows, and then you just constantly be like, I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to tour. I'm ready to headline. That's all you got to do. It's right there at your fingertips. And that's what makes it easy for artists to be able to pull this off and be able to figure out, can they get fans? Can they gain fans? Can they keep growing fans? Like, that's what this is all about. And so I want to give people a specific blueprint to how they can get their first show, and how they can get their second show, how they can get their third show, how they can get their 10, 20, 30, 40, all those shows. I want to give you a blueprint of how can you do this. And that's what Concert is about. If this is your first show, if this is your 30th show, I want to welcome you to Concert, and then so we can build a relationship where you can get enough shows to build a strong fan base and create a career. And this helps create your career, just like this podcast does. It gives you the actual blueprint to how you're going to build those fans, and what places you need to be in, and where you need to tour, and where you need to, find those fans and start promoting yourself at. So that's the difference between then and now. I want you to use Concert in any state, and see, that's why we're trying to expand to other states. So in those other states, more people get onto this app, and then I'll be able to come out there and start putting on shows and getting everyone shows, and then that'll be easy for people to get their first show, second show, third show, fourth show. So in the future, when you ask, how do I put on my first show, or how do I get my first live show as an artist, your answer should be Concert.